Welcome to 5 Minutes, your quick dive into the wide-ranging world of insurance, technology, and leadership. I'm Miguel Edwards, and I'll be your guide as we explore these topics that are transforming not just the insurance industry, but the business world at large. Along with sharing observations I've made over the span of my career in insurance, technology, and operations, I'll be chatting with some of the brightest minds in business and leadership. Whether you're a seasoned executive or a rising star, an industry expert, or just curious about how technology is revolutionizing insurance, this is your perfect spot for your weekly dose of insights. This is 5 Minutes.
That's a great segue, by the way, into describing, kind of Scout and what the mission is.
Yeah, that's great. What we're doing is helping insurance adopt and understand technology better. We're doing that in a very insurance-y way, I would say, in that I am, rather than dropping one conference on people's calendar and you come into a city for 48 hours and start some new relationships, but also build on your old ones, I deliver year-round events.
Okay.
So I have events in Cleveland, Columbus, Cincinnati, Detroit. This year it'll be in Chicago, Toronto, Nashville. We had one in Phoenix yesterday. Everyone that sits down around these tables hears what we're doing and hopefully buys into the vision of being part of something larger. The folks that sit around those tables are typically founders, executives, VP plus at carriers, exited founders, consultants, people that look out into the industry for the new thing, the next thing, and are actually buying and making decisions about this and trust the person next to them. So I create an environment to build and sustain these relationships all year round and layer things onto it. So I have the event series and we have the membership communities. I'm also talking to 600. Well, I'm on track to talk to 600 companies this year.
Okay.
Over time, I want to be the expert in insurance technology companies in the United States. And that's where it's going to take me a few years. We're characterizing every one of those companies. I have my partners have personal relationships with those founders. We have direct conversations with all of them. We put them on the virtual stage in front of our carrier partners and our brokerage partners. And we put some on the stage of the conference. I charge nothing for that. Zero.
Wow.
We are able to do that because we're monetized through the carriers and brokerages, and we have some economic development money in Ohio. But very much like my goal is to drive economic activity in insurance and insurance technology. And that's what we're doing. Everything is focused around that. I want to make it easy for a startup to engage with me and easy for a carrier to understand whether what I'm doing is interesting to them, as easy as it can be.
So do I think about Scout as an Edmunds or a Consumer Reports of the kind of insurance technology space? You are a directory, a place that I can go if I'm a carrier. It's a place that I can go to see what technology solutions are out there that I might need.
Well, let me reframe that a little bit.
Yeah, please.
Imagine that you're corporate dev, corporate venture, or just venture, strategy, innovation, partnerships, or distribution.
Okay.
You're the type of person outside of sales that is looking directly out of your company for opportunities to grow your company or improve processes within your company. Right? There's a number of different things there. Typically, you do that. You have an SVP or something that is running an organization. Maybe they have a couple people, smaller carriers. They may have one or two people. I am seeing very broadly what's happening across the environment. I'm providing a much tighter view. So a carrier may say, to me, I'm just going to come to your events and see the companies on stage and meet them. That's no problem. You can do that. I want to come in as a lower level partner. I want tickets to all of your events. I want digital signage. I want you to do some co-marketing with me. And I want a little bit more of curated experience all the way through an experience where I'm building an innovation program entirely for a carrier, where they're saying, I've got 4 innovation objectives over the next year or corporate development or whatever it may be. I'm going to say, I'm going to look at 10, 15, 20 companies in each spot, filter that down to 5, put them in front of you. Bring 4 to your headquarters, run a full day program for you to understand how you interact with these companies and give you all of that context for less than what it's going to cost for you to hire a couple people onto your team to do it one time.
Got it. I love that. That's a very, very interesting approach. Real quick shift of gears here as you start thinking about the innovators that you work with. I'm going to ask this question in maybe a little bit of an awkward way, but I'm assuming you have seen and worked with a number of innovators that fail.
Sure. Yeah. I've been one.
What are some of the hallmarks that you look for that could be signs of a liability, of kind of early failure? What are some of those characteristics, those traits?
We're talking about in like an early stage or a startup company or something. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah.
This one is almost cliche at this point amongst folks like you and I, but I've talked to some companies that are entirely technology and they have no context with experience and they are with insurance. and they'll say, I'm talking to innovation guy at XYZ top 15 P&C carrier. We're forecast to close with them in 3 months. And I have this conversation. Did you tell your investors that? How are you forecasting your investors? How long is it going to take you to run an enterprise B2B sales motion to a carrier, particularly a top 10 or top 20 carrier?
Yeah.
So I also see the idea that I think there's perception, a lot of folks that come from outside of the industry, that we are slow because we can't get it together. And there are reasons that technology adoption within insurance are slow in different places, and not always good reasons.
Yeah.
But having a lack of understanding of why, as an example, claims is going to move in a very different fashion than underwriting.
Yeah.
Right. Because of the nature of the problems that they're trying to solve and what they need to address, and the difference between the opportunity cost of working on those things. You know, I think that it's so important to understand, and this is universal across all companies, understand your market intimately. Be willing to adopt to what the market is demanding versus trying to push a product into a problem that may or may not exist that you believe exists.
Yeah.
And I love it when founders come in and say, I ask them what they did, and think, well, I was that guy and I had this problem and I built this thing and it fixes that problem.
Right.
That is what I like to hear.
Thank you for joining this episode of 5 Minutes. If you've enjoyed our discussion, we'd love for you to share it with anyone else you think might find it interesting. Also, please subscribe on whatever podcast platform you're listening on and hit that bell to stay on top of the game with our practical 5-minute episodes. We look forward to seeing you again next week.